Okay, so my guest today is Miss Tiffany Hanzo Martin. She is an up and coming fitness and lifestyle enthusiast, and she helps people through her social media, her Instagram, her YouTube, and encourages them to live healthier, and definitely is leading with vulnerability and authenticity, and that's why I have her here today. I'm really inspired by her and I love her. So welcome, Tiffany. I'm so pumped to have you.
Hello. Hello.
So Tiffany and I met, well, we haven't really met in person yet. We've only met on Zoom and through Instagram, but we actually met because her mom, Cindy, is a really good friend of mine. And Cindy was like, you should reach out to my daughter, Tiffany, because she's like doing all this cool fitness stuff. And I know she'd love to talk to you. And I honestly like our conversations I've really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It took a little while, but we all have busy lives, but we did it.
Yes, or we procrastinate, which is why this is literally like my third episode. So I'm grateful for you too, because like this kind of helped push me into doing this again. And kind of like we talked about, like, you know, we are people that don't necessarily want to do things like if we're not enjoying them, especially like in this realm.
Yep.
So yeah, if it feels like a job, if it feels like a job like on top of your other job, then you're allowed to pump the brakes and be like, I need to do this on my own terms.
Yes.
Yes. So speaking of that, definitely want to talk to you about your start with your healthy living journey and just kind of segue into what you're doing with that and how you're helping influence other people to live their best and healthiest lives.
Yeah, so way back before Instagram was even a thing, I was just someone who was into sports. I played sports in high school. I did a little bit of intramurals in college, and then it kind of dropped off from there. And of course, in your 20s, you party and have a good time. And little do you know, later in life, you gain weight, right? So a couple years ago, one of my good friends, Amanda Morrison, introduced me to Arbonne, which is basically a healthy living type brand, healthy living and lifestyle brand. And they have a program called the 30 Days to Healthy Living. And I'm like, you know what? Why not? Let's try it out. So from there, I kind of got really into it. Me and my husband both, did it. We saw results, but we also understood that this was just a jump start. Like the healthy living program is not something that you abide by long term. And the idea is let's restart your body and then, gradually you create the 80-20 rule. So 80% healthy, quote unquote healthy, to 20% you still have your burger and fries and pizza. And the first month, I lost 9 pounds and 6.5 inches, and I just felt really good, and it kept me motivated. I will say doing it with a partner is key. Those of you who can do it without a partner, I envy you. And then from there, I'm like, okay, I have my Instagram, but how can I share this with people? And I was in a friend group one day, and I'm like, I need some cool alliteration, like to kind of have a fun handle, right? And so one of my friends just mentioned, like, what about the healthy Hanzo? And of course, this is before I was married. And so I just did it. I didn't really add close friends at first. I wanted to kind of see what would happen if I just started doing things. And, I'm close to 400 followers. I know that's not a lot in 2 years. However, I'm not actively trying to look for them. I'm actively trying to just share as much as I can to as many people. And the whole premise is I'm a regular person. You're a regular person. Let's do this together. Let me show you what's difficult. Let me show you how I'm having fun. And I'll tell on myself too, like, hey, you guys, I had pizza today, and that's okay. Tomorrow's a new day. So that's kind of my MO. And then I also just share little snippets of my life, just very raw. So I don't have any special anything making it look what it's not. And it's just been really fun. So yeah.
I love that. And I love what you were saying about not adding friends at first, just to kind of like see, because that it allows you to kind of like step into whatever you want it to be instead of
Mm-hmm.
kind of like stepping into the expectation. Because we all kind of think like, oh, well, these people that I know, like if they knew me before this, they're going to judge me for doing this and all this other stuff. When in reality, like nobody cares. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
nobody cares as much as you think they care. But having that kind of like awareness to open it up and just say like, I'm going to see what happens here. I'm just going to do exactly what I want to do and represent myself in a super authentic way is really cool. And I think a lot of people don't focus enough on the quality of the following. I think there's a lot of
Right.
people out there. That's why like what we were talking about the other day, right? Like all these people trying to like buy followers and that kind of like farming thing. And that when you see that happening, that's not a good look for that person. Like that doesn't that doesn't look good for you. And it doesn't make me
Yeah.
trust you for sure. And that's kind of what that transparency is all about. And what I love about your stuff is you're just super transparent and fun. Like you can tell that you are genuinely you when you step out
Yeah.
into that platform.
And I do focus on, the hashtag kind of frequency or algorithm, whatever you want to call it, because people are constantly looking for the hashtag healthy or looking for the hashtag fitness or abs or whatever it is. And I feel like as I'm doing posts and I'm getting these random followers, it had to be from that, because where else would they find me?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's no shame in that game. I do it too. I mean, it's just like doing something. I mean, like this has not a huge following, but it will hopefully like, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
it's going to hopefully expose people to you that don't know who you are already. And I think like that's the really good thing about social media is there's so much for everybody to offer if they're kind of like willing to step into that, kind of showcasing what you've got. Why not
Yeah.
hashtag it? Maybe you'll come across somebody's discover page or
And I
explore
think
page.
I think it just hasn't been stressful for me because I do have a full-time job. So this is kind of my fun piece. This is
Mhm.
like, I want to do this. Therefore, I don't feel like I have to go above and beyond to try to find those followers or try to find people to advertise for me or what have you. So that's kind of what made it sustainable, really. I'll go days without posting and okay, great. And those who stop following me clearly are not trying to follow me for the right reasons.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, you do see those people that kind of like come on, follow, and then all of a sudden you're down like a couple of followers and it's just like, well, all right, I'm not for everybody and I'm okay with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and maybe you weren't for me, so that's why I didn't follow you back.
yeah.
Uh, so how is it going? How's Instagram going? Like, how do you feel like, what's your feedback been just as far as what you're offering up? How have you pivoted? Like, what are your setbacks?
Well, throughout the couple years that I actually actively started, I've definitely fluctuated. So for everyone's ears, I started out around 216 pounds, a size 16. I'm currently around 174-ish, a size 12. However, I've yo-yoed to 200 a couple times. I got married last year, so that was a good motivator. I had an injury, so I went back up in weight. And I'm at a point now where I'm not obsessing over the scale because I've realized that that's not really the point. So of course, at first, if you are overweight in any capacity, you're going to see the scale drop for however long, and then you're going to plateau, and then you're not going to want to be motivated. So one of the things that I recently did was I took string and I just put it around all the different parts of my body, and once a month. So I did it this month. So next month I'll do the same thing and I'll compare the strings, right? So I'm really focusing on inches at this point. Because although my weight has gone down about 5-6 pounds in the last couple months, the gyms have been closed. Therefore, I know for a fact my muscle mass has gone down. So is it real weight? No, because I still fit in the same clothes. So really just taking things in perspective and seeing what works for you. Um, and yeah, that's what's been motivating for me. I know COVID has been really difficult for a lot of people, but I took it as an opportunity to focus on me, because that's the thing I could control. Like, I can't control not going to bars. I can't control not hanging out with friends, but what I can control is working out and eating healthy and meal prepping and partnering with my husband in the same regard. And so I've just been really positive. This has actually been a really great year for me, which I have a hard time expressing that because I don't want to disregard anyone who has been having a really hard time. But I'm interested to see when everything opens back up, is the weight going to come on because the bars and the restaurants and everything are open? So.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great question. It's funny because like James and I have definitely been eating. I'm cooking at home a lot more because like I think we're very cognizant of when we order food. You know what I mean? I'm like, we can order food like once a week or whatever, like on the weekends, maybe some brunch, or like Friday, we're pizza heads. Pizza heads? Is that a thing? Or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
I live with a Chicago deep dish guy. So we indulge in deep dish
Yes.
once a week. But yeah, it is interesting because I do think that a lot of people like that weight, and that it kind of sneaks up on them in circumstances like this, because you kind of like think that you're doing the right things, but at the same time, like when the days are just passing and passing and passing, and the months are passing and passing and passing, and you don't have like vacations to look forward to, you know what I
Right.
mean? You're not gonna like be on the beach, so you're not gonna like have that kind of like nobody's going
Exactly.
anywhere. So yeah, I think that your approach to non-scale victories is really awesome, because that's the one thing that I tell clients and people just like on a journey all the time. Like this is not a linear journey, and
Mm-hmm.
you're never going to get to a place where you're completely satisfied. Like you're always going to find new goals to reach.
Exactly.
So as long as you keep those non-scale victories really like top of mind, and you allow them to shift and change as your mentality and those challenges come about, then like you'll always be okay. You'll always be okay.
Yeah. And the key is short-term goals for me. So it's like, all right, Monday, no soda. I'm going to drink this much water. I'm going to take a shower, like whatever it is. And so I focus on day to day. And then if I can get through a whole week hitting all my daily goals, I'll now expand it to, all right, here's my weekly goals. And then if I can do that, then I keep expanding it. And then if I do have a setback, guess what? I'll go back to my daily goals again. Because I mean, focusing on a wedding 9 months from now was great for me, but then I fell off the wagon during the holidays.
Sure.
So it's like just really focusing on the day to day, the hour by hour. And, if you make a good decision in the beginning of the day, it's a lot easier to continue. For sure.
Yes. You and I talked about this, and you have willpower that I don't think a lot of other people have, which is like, if you eat one bad thing, that doesn't mean that like the dominoes start to fall from that point all the way until like the end of the week or the end of the month. It's like,
Yeah.
no, if you eat one thing that's quote unquote bad, that's why I never told people. People would be like, oh, I had a cheat meal. I'm like, that's not a word in our vocabulary.
Right.
We don't use it in our relationships. We don't use it in our, we don't use it at all. Cheating is not a thing. You were a human being. You ate something that wasn't so healthy for you. So the next thing that you put in your face is better. And that's the solution that keeps the ball rolling in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are not like that, which is, I mean, it's awesome. It's really awesome.
I definitely plan for my binges. So if I do go on a vacation, or I know I'm going somewhere for the week, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this and not feel bad about it. Because it's fake weight at that point. And then, you continue with your continuum. I will say, like, I'm at a point where I'm kind of maintaining. And so those types of situations are a lot easier. Whereas if you're still on your journey of, getting to a goal weight or getting to a goal inch wise or what have you, those may seem like a larger setback, because you can't just bounce back because your body's not used to bouncing back at this point. And that was a struggle for me in the beginning. But again, the whole partnership thing, and me and my husband and I holding ourselves accountable, was so key to our success.
Yeah. Will you talk a little bit more about that? Like how, I mean, like, was it just like a mutual decision? Like kind of what was his journey? Like what were some of the struggles that you guys faced that were maybe the same, maybe different?
Yeah, so he definitely was more quote unquote overweight than I was, but he is also a 6 foot something man who can lose weight really quickly. And I was like, you know what, just try this with me. It's only 30 days. Let's do this healthy living reset. And if you hate it, then whatever, you tried. But if you love it, like, let's try to do this together. And kind of our agreement that first month, we did not exercise. We really focused on food because both of our issues was overeating. So even though we may have had something that was healthy, we would still overeat and almost feel sick every time we ate. So that was our biggest issue. My husband's a snacker. So I'm like, okay, we'll snack during the day instead of at night after dinner. Or eat your whole dinner and drink a whole glass of water. But for him, I mean, the first month he lost 25 pounds and lost like 5 inches. And I'm like, how do you lose 25 pounds but only 5 inches? I don't understand. Whatever, the man's body did what it did.
Men like
Yeah.
you could not drink a beer like one night and then they're just like, all of a sudden like so svelte and like, oh, you look like an ice sculpture today.
And he also cut out really high carb alcohol, so he was a Hennessy drinker. And
oh wow!
We now both do vodka sodas. We try to do gluten-free vodka just because it's a better base. I mean, it's all bad, let's be real, but yeah, and he's kind of a dinner drink guy, you know. But if we're partying, that's a lot of sugar and carbs, right? The other thing we started doing is meal prepping and planning. So if we had a plan for the week, we actually stick to it. But if we're like, what do we want to eat tonight? We either wouldn't eat or we do late night fast food or something just because it was easy. Then we both joined the gym, and he's very money conscious. So he's like, if I'm paying for this, I'm going. We did, I don't know if you've heard of the app Run Bet.
So I have heard of that. Yes. Yeah.
So you put in money. So say it's $40, and then say the goal is you have to run a mile every day for however long. And then everyone who actually completes that splits the pot. More times than not, you just get your money back. But the fact that you put money in it and you're seeing the leaderboard, it just, if you're a competitive person, which my husband and I are, we're just like on it. And then I discovered weights, and I was like, yes, this is what I like. I like weight training and HIIT training. And yeah, we just started doing it. We've had phases where we're off for a week or two, and then we're like, all right, we got to get going again. And we've had phases where I'm super into it and he's not, and vice versa. But again, we just focus on the day at hand and not dwell on like, oh, we did this crappy thing 2 weeks ago. You know, we're always looking ahead in the day. So
I think that's really good to be able to have a partner that keeps you accountable, but also gives you a little bit of grace, because like, we're not perfect all the time. We're not going to be perfect all the time. And sometimes I think having that pressure, or that like perceived pressure of needing to be that, can also like be more of a demotivator than a motivator sometimes, because it almost feels overwhelming. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that you guys, like, I mean, you know, you guys go in waves together, and that's truly like the foundation and the journey of healthy living. And I think a lot of times people don't know that. They think that it's like this huge, like we were saying, like overwhelming commitment. But if you take it day by day and make it a part of your habitual thing, then, you know, it becomes much more, everything becomes more attainable in that way. Yeah.
It's also about who is your influencer. So of course I follow a bunch of fitness people, but I focus on more what is their exercise or what is the thing they're eating, more so than like, I want to look like that person, you know? So if that doesn't work for you and you can't differentiate that, then don't follow those people. Right. And it's all fake anyway. Let's be real.
I mean, yes. Yes, that's a healthy mindset to have all the way around. I mean, like I really admire that about you, because like I know that even, you know, but like there are times where I like get triggered by people because I'm like, A, that's not good for your clients because you're just doing this for Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as trainers or as, you know, fitness enthusiasts, like if we're putting stuff out there, our motto needs to be do no harm. And like when you're doing stuff like just because it looks cool, not cool with me, don't like it, but like you said, also
Yeah.
like what's realistic? Like who's coming to you? Like is it somebody like that's coming to you so they can like feel bad about themselves, or is it somebody who's gonna, you know, come to you and actually feel like they know you in a really positive way because you're the same person that you are on there as the person that they see online, whether they know you or not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm not trying to be on any of those Instagrams, reality versus Instagram pages,
Yeah,
you
no
know?
kidding. Yeah, we were talking about that when it's like, whoa, that girl's butt is so big. And then like she's standing like next to like a shower with subway tiles and the tiles are all like, "Wah," in the
Yeah.
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 Oh no.
And of course, like everyone deserves to be glamorous. I mean, I have
Yes.
my glam shots and stuff, but I'm not, you know, I may put a filter, but I'm not face tuning myself.
But like also be your own, like own your own glamour. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like own your own shit. I mean, it's not worth it to like want somebody else's body so badly, or like trying to fit into that stereotype of like big butt, tiny, impossibly tiny waist,
Yeah.
and then, you know, just morph yourself to be able to. I mean, I don't know who that's serving because it definitely can't make you feel good if that's what you're doing. You know what I mean?
I mean, I was definitely drawn into that. Like I'm all about that. But then I realized my body doesn't do that. And
Right?
that's
Oh,
okay.
same. Yeah. Yeah.
You
I mean, I
know?
have a boy body. Yeah.
um, but yeah, if you like focus on you and what you have to offer and like don't try to always compare yourself to other people, then you're going to get ahead. And that's in anything in life, in your
Hmm.
job, the way you look, whatever. Because I just see so many people that are so glommed on to the ideal, but those people have trainers, those people are wealthy, those people have people cooking for them every meal, you know.
Yeah.
There's the only way they're sustaining that is because they have someone hand and foot making sure they sustain that, you
Yeah.
know. That's
Yeah.
not real.
We have a joke that's it's you're not ugly, you're just poor.
I like that.
It's true. It's true. I mean, because like you're saying, like all like they could get like injections or like have their hair done or like probably have a makeup artist like on hand. Like, you know, I don't I don't know how you have that kind of like Rolodex, you know what I mean? But yeah. So I love that. So you're definitely influencing other people around you by being you, which I love so much. And can you just like tell me a little bit about like the feedback that you've gotten from people, like as far as all of like your workout videos and like your YouTube videos? You just did this awesome gifting guide. I absolutely loved it and I was laughing the whole time.
I definitely don't take myself too seriously, and that is on social media, in real life, and my work. So I work for an association management company, and we've recently gone virtual in March, and we have a whole chat channel just about fitness. And so I'll constantly post either my YouTube or like go check out my channel. I'll post, you know, the exercise of the week. I check in on people. And most of my feedback is like, oh, you inspire me, Tiffany, to want to do something. I don't care what you do. As long as you're doing something, great. Me and a couple coworkers kind of have this thing going where we are accountability buddies. That's kind of my term that I like. Um, yeah, the biggest word I probably hear is inspiration and like beautiful soul
Oh,
situations, like that sort of thing. Oh, I love how raw you are. You're so funny, that type of thing. Those are probably my top feedback. And then I get random, you know, you always get those guys that randomly DM you and is like, oh, you're so beautiful. What's going on? And I'm like, I literally am sweating and like disgusting right now,
There's
but
somebody
thank
for
you.
everybody.
You know, so yeah, and that type of feedback definitely motivates me.
For
You know?
sure.
And if it
Yeah.
takes a year before they actually get off the couch, I'm happy to be that person that helped them get off the couch the year later. Um, but yeah, and I have one of my biggest fears is disappointing people. So I feel bad when I don't post for a while, but I'm like, you know what? I don't have time right now, so I'm not going to do it. But then I still get the same positive feedback. So yeah, I really
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Inspiring thing. I love inspiring people.
Well, I mean, I think that's really cool because like what the words that you're using, the way that I'm internalizing it is the way that I described you to your mom when I was talking to her last weekend. I think for me, some of the most inspiring people are people who have like that intangibility. It's that thing that you like can't quite put your finger on, but it like really draws you to them and like makes you want to learn more about them, makes you want to be a part of their bubble. And that's exactly how I felt about you the first time I talked to you. I was like, I don't really know her well enough yet. I was like, but there's some things I can't quite put my finger on that I'm really loving. And I think that those are the things that like when you finally, you know, somebody has the words to describe you and you get that feedback a lot, like those are the things that you just like really lean into hard.
Well,
So,
thank you so much.
yes, I would completely agree with that feedback. Absolutely agree with that. I love it. So, just kind of like shifting a little bit, I want to know we were talking about influencing other people, but I really want to know how this kind of journey that you started and you're continuing to go on has changed your perspective just on your capabilities, how you've been able to really like inspire yourself. Um, yeah, how's it changed your perspective on like life and fitness and the things that you can achieve?
I will say a healthy living journey has transcribed across a lot of different pieces of my life. Um, Physically, I just feel less tired. I feel less like, ugh, at the end of the day, you know, like I feel like I have better sleep, you know, just simple things like that. Um, Work wise, like I feel more motivated to motivate my staff, even though it's not fitness influencing, but you know, just motivate them to be a good person. It's helped me even save money. I don't know why, but it has. I'm way more intentional with the things that I purchase and buy, especially in grocery stores and restaurants and things like that. Um, it's kind of helped me educate myself about, you know, the nutrition facts on things and just understanding like what our body needs versus what it wants. um, it's helped me with mind over matter, um, as far as like, okay, just because everybody has this supplement, do I need it? Well, no, you know, or even purchases. I when I first started, it was all about like, how can I look the cutest when I like post my videos? I gotta have these nice little outfits, and it's like those outfits didn't make me a better like fitness enthusiast. It made me want to not wear them when I'm working out because I was trying to be cute, you
Right.
know. And don't get me wrong, like now I finally am using my fitness clothes to actually work out, which is what you're supposed to do.
Right. They can take it.
Right. So I just feel like it's made me a better person. Like I feel more empathetic. I've discovered like making myself a priority doesn't mean I'm a selfish person. If anything, I try to give back more, whether it's money, time, just an inspirational quote to help someone's day. Um, so yeah, it's kind of inspired everything across the board, trying new things. Like I'm taking more risk, you know. Risk equals reward though. So
For sure. No, for sure. For sure. Everything that you said, I mean, I think that's so awesome. It's so awesome because yeah, that's the thing that happens, I think, is like we're more in touch with our thoughts too. Like you can kind of get into that, into like runner's high or like in the zone, you know what I mean? Where you're
Mhm.
actually because you have to be aware in weightlifting, or you have to be aware of your body position in yoga. You just become more intentional here with your thoughts. And then when you're like washing the dishes or doing something that's kind of quiet, I've noticed that about myself. I'm like, what's my dialogue here?
Mhm.
You know? And then you're also, I think, way more in touch with what your body's doing. And so you can
Mhm.
be, you can be more in touch with, whether it's PMS or whether it's, a hurt
Exactly.
tooth or, sore throat or whatever that is. I think, yeah, I think just across the board, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'm not as lazy anymore, I used to take whole weekends doing nothing. And it's like when I do have my lazy day, it actually feels good as opposed to me feeling bad about it,
Right.
you
Because you're
know?
intentional about your rest.
Right.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people kind of think of like, especially like when they're on a fitness journey or they're training a lot or they're kind of like on a new push to do, more and be more active and more healthy, like you need rest days. That's what I found with a lot of clients that are like on the go and they're like so pumped about like where they're going, what their plan is. And like, yeah, you can come 5 days a week and lift heavy weights, but like Wednesday, make that your rest day. You know what I mean? Because you're not benefiting from, you know, running and running and running and running. You do need to
Yeah.
rest. You got to listen to your body in that way. That's great. Um, so I guess I would like to just close out, and I just kind of want to ask you about your motto. I have a feeling I kind of already like know along the lines of what it will be, but I'd love to hear it out of your mouth.
I mean, recently it keeps replaying as just like making yourself a priority and not feeling bad about it
Mm.
is really my mantra right now. Um, and then just try new things. Like you never know. Like just do kind of like Nike, just do it.
Yeah. What are some new things that you've tried recently that you like didn't maybe expect to like, or that, kind of surprised you that made you excited?
Yeah, I would probably say the whole YouTube thing, like I don't have a lot of videos, but I'm like, let's see what this is all about. I will say the editing process is painstaking, but then when it's actually published and you see your labor of love, it
Mm-hmm.
feels really cool. It's just, I now know going into it that, okay, I need this much time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't feel stressed about it. Um, Another thing I've tried is, well, I tried your class,
I
and
love
that
that
was
you
really
came. That was
fun.
like the best surprise on Wednesday. It made me so
And
happy.
I'm
Thank
like, I need
you.
to keep doing this because I do work out a lot by myself, even though it feels like I'm not because I'm posting on social media. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of that workout I did with you that I'm like, I would have never kept going. I would have took way more breaks if I was by myself.
That's awesome. It's
Um,
awesome having other people there. Like even for me too, like having kind of taken a break because I was doing virtuals for like the first 6 months, probably every day before we moved to Long Beach. And then because I wasn't teaching anymore, I kind of like lost my routine. And then when I had some people be like, hey, we need to start teaching classes again, I was like, I need it as much as you do. So I appreciate you asking me that. It's
yeah.
it's great to have other people there. It really is.
So the virtual working out, surprisingly, was like I liked it. I thought it
Good.
was gonna be like, oh, Zoom overload, but it's like, no, you're not engaging face to face in a meeting. You're physically doing something
Hmm.
with people, and it feels like they're with you
Yes.
as opposed to just a virtual conversation.
Yeah. And you know what? Normally it's funny. I thought about this and I have like done it in the past where I've used music before. But what I will tell people is I'm like, if you want to put yourself on mute and you can turn on your own music, because I think like if I'm playing music in the background, it's like way too much, like, and people's sound is different. Um, I used to never think I could work out without music, but it's been like surprisingly easy. And I think it's because other people are there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Tiffany. Well, I would love to close out and just ask where people can find you so they can find your YouTube videos, so they can find you on Instagram, and I'll link everything in the podcast notes. And if there's anything else you want to leave on the table.
Yeah, so both YouTube and Instagram is the Healthy Hanzo with underscores in between each of those words. Hanzo is Hanzo. Don't ask me where it came from because my grandpa was an orphan on my dad's side, and we don't really know what culture that's from. But I think of it as Japanese for Hattori
Ooh,
Hanzo from Kill Bill.
yeah.
But yeah, so find me at the Healthy Hanzo. Both of those, and I will share some links below to some of my YouTube videos.
Yay! I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Tiffany, thank you so much for doing this with me. I know that there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to get a lot from this. I got a lot from it, and I am really excited to continue having conversations with you so that we can learn from each other, because you're positive and you inspire me too. So I'm happy that we have this new connection.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yay!
I really enjoyed it.
We'll do it again in the future too. You'll come back.
Yes, of course.
All right, girl. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.